So Biden's out there whining about an oligarchy. Classic Washington nonsense, if you ask me. What, now the rich are the enemy?
It's not whining. He's pointing out legitimate concerns about wealth concentration and tech power, literally echoing Eisenhower's warning about the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, Eisenhower this, Eisenhower that, but Eisenhower wasn't talking about choking an entire economy with government interference, was he?
Okay, but you can't deny there's a dangerous pattern here. The top 0.1% holds more wealth than the bottom 50%. That doesn't exactly scream free market fairness.
Sure, but demonizing the wealthy doesn't fix nothing. You want to tax the life out of innovators and then wonder why jobs disappear? Good luck with that.
No one's talking about that, Leo. It's about fairness. Ensuring billionaires actually pay taxes instead of hiding behind loopholes like the rest of us.
Oh, come on. Loopholes, really? Don't act like everyone ain't looking for every tax break they can get.
Fine. Then what about Biden's push to end presidential immunity? After January 6th, accountability matters more than ever.
Accountability? Or handing courts a free pass to target whoever they don't like? You really don't see how this could backfire?
Misuse is possible in everything, but the alternative is worse. Imagine another president thinking they're untouchable. We both know how that turned out last time.
Yeah, but turning judicial precedent on its head to settle scores? That's not a path we want to walk down lightly, no matter who's in charge.
And yet doing nothing isn't an option either. Biden's pointing to a bigger picture here, holding power accountable and closing the wealth gap.
Ha! The bigger picture is just them trying to distract from their own failures. Inflation's still sky high, and these folks are worried about hiding campaign funds?
Hidden political money fuels the very oligarchy he's warning about. You don't see the connection?
I see a government that spends trillions like it's monopoly money and wants to blame everyone else for the fallout. Fix the budget first.
Oh, because big corporations and billionaires are just innocent bystanders in all of this?
Innocent, no. But saving an economy ain't about punishing success, Bethany. You focus on growth, not handouts disguised as fairness.
Speaking of fairness and accountability, Leo, Biden's farewell speech wasn't just about policies. One of its strongest parts was his renewed commitment to a peaceful transfer of power, something foundational to democracy itself.
Peaceful? Maybe on paper. You notice he couldn't even say Trump's name? That's not exactly extending an olive branch, now is it?
Oh, come on. Just because he didn't name Trump doesn't mean it wasn't bipartisan. Actions speak louder than words, and he's been collaborative enough through the transition.
Collaborative? Or carefully leaving breadcrumbs of mistrust? If he really wanted unity, he wouldn't have taken so many jabs.
Right, because the guy who held transition briefings and worked on Middle East diplomacy is just full of resentment. Sure, Leo.
Middle East diplomacy? Oh, you mean that ceasefire with Hamas? Yeah, great. But what did it actually accomplish long-term, huh?
It restored some credibility to U.S. diplomacy. That's no small feat after years of damage to our standing internationally.
Damage? Or just recognizing realpolitik? Look, tell me how this ceasefire actually benefits us. What, does it stop rockets or secure stable allies?
It's about leadership. The U.S. showing it's still capable of brokering peace sends a powerful signal to the world. Short-term fixes lead to long-term strategies.
You keep saying long-term, but what's the plan to keep this from unraveling? Empty gestures don't solve anything.
Empty? Biden's legacy isn't just ceasefires. It's building roads, bridges, and stronger middle-class communities. Bipartisan infrastructure deals were his hallmark.
Oh, you mean those deals blue-collar folks are still waiting to see payoff? His economic oversight didn't exactly help people like me, did it?
He prioritized middle-class families, Leo. That directly impacts infrastructure, jobs, and the economy.
Impacts? Try overspending. Ask the guy at the gas station struggling to pay bills if he feels impacted.
Biden's bipartisan approach brought long-term investment. Sure, there's room for more, but give some credit where it's due.
Credit? When inflation's eating up paychecks and government policies aren't touching the real issues, you must be kidding.
Speaking of economic issues, Biden's plan to revise the tax code seems like a much-needed correction. The ultra-wealthy have been skating by while the rest of us pick up the slack, don't you think?
Oh, here we go again. Tax the rich, as if they're the ones causing all the problems. You punish success and guess what? Jobs vanish, just like that.
Leo, this isn't about punishment, it's about fairness. The top 0.1% holding 5 times the wealth of the bottom 50% isn't exactly what I'd call a balanced system.
Balanced? Kind of hard to balance anything when inflation's smacking folks at the grocery store. Maybe fix that first before penalizing entrepreneurs.
You keep saying entrepreneurs like all billionaires are plucky startups. Some of them made their fortunes exploiting loopholes we'd never have access to. Leveling the field is common sense.
Leveling the field by ripping it up? Great logic, Bethany. Maybe next we should just tell Congress they can't even make an honest buck either.
Actually, Biden's proposal to ban congressional stock trading is essential. And after all the scandals, yeah, I'd call that accountability.
Accountability? Or just more overreach? Why strip folks in office of their right to manage their own finances?
Because they're not supposed to profit off insider information. You're telling me you're okay with elected officials using their positions to trade stocks unethically?
Unethical stock trades ain't high on my list of priorities, Bethany. How about we focus on policy failures hitting the working class instead of nitpicking ethics laws?
Oh, so corruption at the top doesn't matter? Those failures you mentioned? They happen because power's concentrated in too few hands.
Corruption's bad, sure, but guess what? Choking the wealthy with taxes or telling Congress what they can't trade ain't gonna fix the price of milk, plain and simple.
But it's how you start fixing broken systems, Leo. Ignoring root causes just keeps the cycle going.
Or maybe, just maybe, you stop playing Robin Hood and focus on real solutions like unleashing industries instead of fleecing them dry.
And real solutions include making sure the wealthiest pay their share and that public servants aren't profiting off backroom deals. That's accountability, Leo. Basic accountability.
And what you call accountability looks a heck of a lot like government sticking its nose where it don't belong. Kind of funny how the little guy always pays in these schemes, huh?
Funny? I'd call it tragic. But hey, Leo, keep rooting for a system that rigs the game against exactly the people you claim to stand for.
And you keep pushing for a government that can't even manage its own checkbook to play referee. Real helpful.
Well, we're clearly not solving this today, but at least we can agree the conversation has to keep going.
Oh, it'll keep going, all right. I just hope it goes somewhere that don't kill what's left of the American dream.